What a week for the UFC. We're so freaking back. So today, all of a sudden, we find out we're going to Paramount Plus. We're losing the pay-per-view model. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. Dana White Contender Series starts tomorrow. Tuesdays are back. And then we get UFC 319, Khamzat taking on Dricus Plessis for the middleweight belt. Are you kidding me? What a win for the UFC. Dana White has to be like a little kid right now on Christmas. Like, this is really a huge week for them. And I'm excited to break it down, guys. If you're new here, I'm the MMA Casual. I do my best at bringing videos with all my bets, predictions, breakdowns. And yeah, we've been pretty freaking consistent. The last 2 weeks, I did slow down. The cards were just kind of rough. I wanted to take a little break because the YouTube is a lot, plus the Instagram and running the short-term content, short form content. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, long story short, let's get right to it, guys. And we're going to move fairly quick. This is just breakdowns. Unfortunately, there's no prop bets that are out except for the main event. So I'm going to be moving pretty quickly. I'll tell you who my dog picks are, who the favorites are, and why I believe that things are going to happen. Like I said, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I appreciate any comments, likes, notifications. It is what it is. Guys, first off, this is so quick. Karine Silva against JJ Aldrich was canceled. But the UFC website's so shitty that when I go get Deani Barbosa on here, it's not even there. So if the UFC doesn't care about this fight, they can't even upload or update their graphics. You think I'm going to care? You think I'm going to go out of my way to put Deani Barbosa here against Karine Silva? Are you kidding me, guys? I don't want to be disrespectful. But the reality is, this is when you're getting the Tostitos in your bowl. You're getting the Coors out of the cooler. You're setting up your wife with a nice drink. You're finished. You're dusting the shelves. When this fight's over, then you sit down, right? And no disrespect here. I think Karine Silva wins it. I think she takes this to a decision. Barbosa is a very durable chick, very high level. And I think the reality is going to be that Karine Silva had a camp for this fight against JJ Aldrich. Barbosa's little late notice. I think Barbosa may win the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins a round. I think that's a good one to take the plus 3.5 spread for Barbosa. But I think Karine Silva takes over, keeps range, has the output. 29-28, unanimous decision, maybe a split. Staying away from that fight, straight up. Guys, Brian Battle, Nurzulton, Ruziboyev. This is an absolute banger. An absolute banger. And we start this off with Brian Battle coming in as a minus 170 favorite. Ruziboyev's a plus 140 underdog. I'm going to be frank with you. And this is a good intro for you who are new here. I give out my exclusive bets, $4.99 a month. The link's below. Winnable app, $9.99 a month, but you get text straight to your phone. Long story short, yesterday I got on there and I was quick. I saw Ruziboyev as a dog, and I'm going to be honest with you. He's my first dog pick of the night. And the reason he's the dog pick of the night, because in my opinion, this is dog or bust. Brian Battle's a gritty dude. We saw what he did to Kevin Gisette. We saw him come back and then against Randy Brown look a little lackluster, very clinch heavy. But he's very good, and he's gonna make this a dogfight. And he has that like Max Holloway thought process, like come stand and bang with me. And nobody wants to fight the Butcher. To be honest with you, he's a very good striker, very powerful, and he's gonna take shots. Ruziboyev, on the other hand, kind of the best of both worlds. He's a decent striker, and he has grappling. He just doesn't seem to utilize it. So the real kicker here for me is Brian Battle's moving up to middleweight, and he's well sized. He's 6'1". Ruziboyev 6'5". So if Brian Battle, this strength translates, the speed stays with him, the cardio's there, I think he could give Ruziboyev a shitty 15 minutes. But if Brian Battle's having a tough time closing the distance with him, and all of a sudden Ruziboyev he clinches up against Ruziboyev, I think Ruziboyev gets crafty. I think Ruziboyev takes him down. I think all of a sudden we start seeing random sub attempts. Either way, I'm going dog here. This is such a close fight. This is, in my opinion, a pick'em. I do like the striking of Brian Battle, but I don't think Ruziboyev's that far off. I think Ruziboyev can find a shot. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, puncher's chance. I think Ruziboyev could set some things up. And 6'5", he's huge, but he has short limbs for his size. He's at a reach disadvantage, while Brian Battle has like orangutan arms over there. So this is a close fight, guys. And Brian Battle is very dangerous. I do like Ruziboyev by decision, which sounds crazy just because both of these guys are fairly durable. Not fairly, they are durable. So I'm taking Ruziboyev. I put 1.5 units of Ruziboyev to start the night and set the pace for us. I like him here. I'm a huge Brian Battle fan, but moving up to middleweight, I don't know. Questionable decision. Edson Barbosa, Drakkar, close. I'm all over Edson Barbosa. And the narrative this week is going to be like, Edson Barbosa, this guy was fighting when I was a little kid. Literally the reality. This guy has fought everybody who's ever been anybody. But with that being said, he hasn't fought in a little over a year, and his last fight was against Lerone Murphy. And he didn't look that bad. He was outclassed, but we're talking about an up-and-coming prospect who's fighting on this card, who is about a fight away from a title fight. I'm not mad at it. Went 5 rounds with him. Like, Edson Barbosa's a bad dude. And you want to talk about age? If there's anybody who, like, takes care of himself, like, look at this guy's physique. Look how freaking peeled he is at his age. This guy is like the apple a day type of guy, still running half marathons probably, and then going to do 1,000 push-ups. I am not worried about this guy's lifestyle and the fact that he is definitely physically probably younger than he shows. Yes, he's taken some beatings. Yes, he's been here for a long time. There should be wear and tear. But Drakkar Klose is 37. So this narrative that's going to come out, I'm not all about it. Drakkar Klose in this fight needs to take down Edson Barbosa, because Edson Barbosa is going to do whatever the hell he wants striking. And this is what ultimately made the call for me. Drakkar Klose is coming off a knockout loss to Joel Alvarez. I'm all over Joel Alvarez. And to me, he's like a younger Edson Barbosa. Crafty, freaking swift on his feet, brings power shots out of nowhere. Very fun guy. Changes up the tempo. But that's Edson Barbosa. That's straight out of Edson Barbosa's book. So I think if Edson Barbosa starts shooting some body kicks, hits him with some leg kicks, throws a spinning wheel kick, like, I think he's going to fuck up Drakkar Klose. It's that simple. I really think he's going to mess him up. Drakkar Klose, primarily a wrestler initially in his career, I think that's what he needs to do here. But even then, I'm comfortable enough to think that Edson Barbosa finds his way up. So closer fight than I believe the line indicates, even though it's pretty close. So Barbosa minus 165 favorite, Klose is plus 135. I think it's a fairly close fight. I did take Barbosa in a parlay. Maybe I'm going to prop something with him, but I'm fairly confident. But this could look a little closer than we want. No pun intended. So Edson Barbosa's the pick. The knockout or points, to be honest with you. Chase Hooper, Alexander Hernandez. Oh, man, I love this one. Chase Hooper, minus 325 favorite. A little heavy there. And then Hernandez is plus 250 underdog. Guys, Chase Hooper is the real deal. He is massive for this division. He's 6'1", lightweight. Alexander Hernandez, 5'9", middle to lower on size-wise. Smaller, I mean to say, in this weight class. The reality is Chase Hooper is going to do whatever the hell he wants if they're grappling. That's just the reality. And then you would think Alex Hernandez, he really mixes up his mixed martial arts, right? Like a mixed martial artist. He's fast. He's powerful. And when I mean fast, I mean he is fast. He's going to move in and out really well. Great footwork. And then he's going to mix up the wrestling when necessary. The problem here is he's not dumb enough to shoot at Chase Hooper. That's my opinion. Because I don't care if Chase Hooper's on his back. This guy's a freaking problem. The way this guy fights in mixed martial arts, the way he grapples in mixed martial arts is different. This guy really treats it like a BJJ match. And he is so fluent. He is fluid. He's so technically advanced. He's ahead of his opponents in, like, it's just incredible. It's so much fun watching him. I think casuals and people who don't like BJJ enjoy watching him because he is doing the funkiest shit in the octagon, shit that's not intended for the octagon. So props to him. And I think that Alexander Hernandez knows that. So Alexander Hernandez is going to try to keep this striking, which I think is the way to go. He's fast. He's powerful. He can land the shot. But Chase Hooper's so big, I think he's going to feel comfortable keeping distance. And I think Chase Hooper's going to win that way. And honestly, if at any point we find ourselves hitting the mat, if they clinch up and Chase Hooper finds a little takedown, I think he subs him. I don't care how athletic Alexander Hernandez is. I don't care how strong he is. I think Chase Hooper is levels above Alexander Hernandez, and I think he submits him. So Chase Hooper by second round sub is my call. Minus 325 is a little heavy, but I threw him in a parlay. I'm not going to lie to you. I love Chase Hooper in this spot. Jessica Andrade, Lupe Godinez. The two women in the UFC, if you had to tell me who's unreliable, these are two of the people who pop into my head. But the reality is Lupe Godinez is a way better fighter all around compared to Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is very old UFC. Very old UFC. Come in, land the power shot, get a chick who's not expecting it, can't handle the forward pressure, lights out, I win, even became champion. That is not the case anymore. The evolution of mixed martial arts left Jessica Andrade way behind. She's not committed anymore. She's looked like shit in her last few fights. I'm all over Lupe Godinez. And I also parlayed her. I think Lupi Godinez does whatever she wants in this fight. However, Lupi Godinez has proven to have shit IQ, and even her last fight, when all of a sudden apparently she almost shat her pants, literally in round 3 of her last fight. She was up 2 rounds. I was a little concerned because she got into trouble, but again, she was clenched up, so who knows the situation here. But I'm gonna take it, Lupi Godinez, to be able to wrestle Jessica Andrade, and when they're striking, to keep her distance, stay safe, be defensively sound, and get us to a decision. Lupi Godinez by decision. It would not be a crazy thing for Lupi to finish Jessica Andrade. It would not be the craziest thing. Am I putting money on it? Absolutely not. I did put Lupi money line on somewhere. She's a minus 165. I think that's a super fair price. Jessica Andrade plus 130. Like I said, there's no props. If you're acting crazy, Jessica Andrade by knockout, that's something. That's something if you want to think about it. But I'm not steering that way. Gerald Meerschaert, Michael Olenchuk, whatever you want to call him. This fight is like handicapper hell. This fight is handicapper hell. Guys, Gerald Meerschaert, look at this. This guy has over 50 fights. He's an old soul, but somehow this son of a gun gets random ass submission wins at this stage in his career. This guy, about a year and a half ago or a year ago, gave RDR a battle. This guy is somehow keeping up with the youth of the division. And then you have Michael Olenchuk, which I like this guy. So powerful. He's about the striking. He's coming in to finish a fight. And right now, see what the odds look like. Meerschaert is plus 190 underdog, and Olenchuk is a minus 240 favorite. I want this line to close because if I get Olenchuk for anything minus 200, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I understand he may be a little unreliable, and this is my concern. Gerald Meerschaert is sub or bust in this position. Michelle Olenchuk is knockout or bust in this position, right? We've seen Meerschaert get flatlined. We've seen Olenchuk get subbed. Here's my problem with Olenchuk, and check this out. I could guarantee you, I feel highly confident in what I'm about to say, that Olenchuk is going to drop Meerschaert. He is very powerful. He comes out to bang. I think he lands the shot. And now, this is where we get into a situation. Gerald Meerschaert is a submission master, right? Michelle Olenchuk split Kevin Holland in the beginning of the fight, shoots down into his guard. All of a sudden, Kevin Holland wins by submission before you freaking know it. Olenchuk didn't even tap. He's one tough son of a gun, but his arm was facing the wrong way. So the ref was like, hey, enough of this. Then he fights Dumas, which we expected Olenchuk to beat Dumas. I had him by knockout. First round, knocks him down. And what does Olenchuk do? He just jumps into his guard. And he just ground and pounds for like 15 seconds before the ref stops it. He was there for a freaking hot minute. So now my concern is Olenchuk is going to knock down Meerschaert. But then what's he going to do after? Meerschaert is just going to be there with his eyes open, like, come on down to my world. Or is he going to be knocked out cold? So I hope that Olenchuk realizes the threat that Meerschaert possesses. And I hope he knocks him down. And I hope he says, hey, let him right back up. Or I hope he's in a position that he's not just jumping into his guard. I hope he's on the side just hammer fisting or something. But anyway, this is a very dangerous scenario for either guy. Depending on the money, chances are fight doesn't go the distance, or maybe I go on under. I do think there's a lot of finishing potential in this fight. Michelle Olenchuk's the pick. I'm very weary, and I would not buy him if he's not under 200. Oh man, we got Unk, and then we got Theo. This is like battle of the retirement. Whoever loses lays their gloves down. First of all, Bobby Green. I almost refuse to call him King Green, but I'll entertain this nonsense. All I know is that no King is getting put out with a spinning kick from Mauricio Ruffy. No King is getting put to sleep, submitted by Patty Pimlet, and is left there with his eyes wide open, knocked out. And nobody who is a King is getting slept the way he did by Jalen Turner. So, Mr. King, let's go back to Bobby. I think it suits you more, just being honest. So, then we have Diego Ferreira. Guys, Bobby Green is a fantastic striker, a street striker, if you will. He's going to come in. He's elusive. His hands are down. but now he's paying the price for it. We're at a level that it's like, bro, you're slowing down because of your age. You're not as elusive. Your head movement's not the same. Your chin is definitely not the same. Put your hands up, straight up. Put your hands up. He refuses to. So when we go to this fight, where Diego Ferreira, to me, is more of a competitor right now than King Green, I side with Diego, and I side with Diego by finish. I think Diego's gonna find King Green's chin, and I think King Green will have success in this fight. I think he'll start landing. He'll piece up Diego. But I think once he gets caught by Diego Ferreira, I think it's over. And I really don't see these guys grappling. I think it's gonna be a firefight. I think both of these guys are gonna go out there to put on a show, especially in this position. I think King Green gets left. Diego by knockout, maybe late, maybe 2-3, but Diego, I think Diego does it. He's just a lot stronger, and I just think he's durable, man. I can't trust the King's chin. So moving forward. Oh, actually, let me give you the odds there. Green plus 140, underdog, Fajeda minus 170. Honestly, another one I parlayed. I think Fajeda at minus 170 is a steal. Very surprised if he loses his fight. Tim Elliott, Kai Asakura. Guys, Tim Elliott has not fought in almost 2 years. And the last thing we heard about this guy was breaking news that he found out his best friend was piping his wife the day of his wedding. Or, sorry, he got married, and I think he found out that on his wedding night, his best friend had sex with his wife. Some crazy soap opera, some crazy shit, to be honest. It's like they can't even make this up. Tim Elliott needs to win in life in general. And I am confident that this mofo has been training his ass off to like the most disturbing music of all time. Like this guy is, yeah, this guy's scary. This guy's a threat for sure. However, I gotta be frank with you. He's an aging vet. And Kyle Sakura is a problem. And everyone's gonna say, we haven't seen anything from Kyle Sakura. And he fought Pantoja, and look what happened. Yeah, you just said it. He came into the UFC, they give him a title shot against the second best flyweight of all time. What are you trying to tell me here? Okay. Yeah, he got submitted by Pantoja. Okay. Yeah, so did Kai Kara France. You taking Tim Elliott over Kai Kara France? I'm not. So, Kyle Sakura, I will say this. His highlights are crazy. We have not seen enough of him to be too confident. But I will say something. In that fight with Pantoja, there was a couple of times where I was shitting bricks because I saw the power that Kyle Sakura possessed. He even threw up a knee that I thought it cracked. It cracked. Absolutely cracked Pantoja. And then Pantoja just is an animal and has a chin. But I was like, dude, that knocks out like 60% of the division. Not exaggerating. And everything is so forceful. And I think now that he's dealt with the UFC bright lights, I think now that he's gone in and he took a loss, I think he goes back. And I think his wrestling defense is better. I think he could probably get up out of positions. He did against Pantoja until he got caught, right? He got taken down like 2-3 times in that fight. So do I see Tim Elliott taking down Kyle Sakura, subbing him? Not really. Is it a possibility? Would it blow my mind? No. But I'm all over Kyle Sakura. And to be honest with you, after a 2-year layoff, just getting older, I like Kyle Sakura by knockout. And I think I'm going to hunt that prop. I think it might be an individual prop, but I think I really, really like that prop, guys. So the picks, Kyle Sakura, man, Tim Elliott, I do wish him the best. A part of me will be rooting for him, depending on how my bets are looking. But yeah, man, that guy's just had a rough couple of years. I hope he gets a win. He needs one. Jared Cananer, Michael Venom Paige. And by the way, Kyle Sakura is a minus 300 favorite, and Tim Elliott's a plus 230 underdog. I think that's pretty wide, honestly. Pretty freaking wide. All right, guys. Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Paige. Paige is minus 190 favorite. Cannonier plus 155 underdog. Guys, in my life, I've fallen asleep through one main event. It was Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier a few years back at this point. It was the most boring thing ever. I had to rewatch the fight. And I fell asleep rewatching it again. That shit was awful. And it was a masterclass from Izzy because Izzy just stayed safe. Jared Cannonier could not close the distance. And Jared Cannonier is someone who fought a heavyweight at one point. He's used to closing the distance. If you watch him, he can close distance. But when you have someone whose striking ability is so advanced and they're so elusive, it doesn't matter how close you get to them. they're gonna make the right calls. They're gonna have the slips. They're gonna literally dance around you. That is the reality. And Michael Venom Page, I would argue, that is just as good of a striker as Israel Adesanya. Maybe doesn't pack as much power, but he is more elusive than Israel Adesanya. And Michael Venom Page has done nothing but prove that he could be at this spot. And he's going to look massive here. Jared Cannonier's 5'11. Michael Venom Page is 6'3. He's going to look massive here. And Jared Cannonier has long limbs. The reach is compatible. But I did think Michael Venom Page is going to do what he's done to everybody in the UFC. What he did to Ian Gary and almost won until Ian started wrestling. What he just did to Shara. What he did to Kevin Holland. He's going to frustrate the shit out of his opponent. Can Jared find a knockout? Absolutely. But I'm not betting on that. Michael Venom Page is another parlay piece. I'm so confident in him this week, and I've made wrong calls with him. I've made real wrong. I even had him to beat Ian Gary, and I think so highly of Ian Gary. So Michael Venom Page, by decision, I feel fairly confident. It would have to be the craziest sudden decline we'd see in UFC if all of a sudden he just comes in here and gets starched. I think he'll stay safe. I think he'll be elusive. He'll frustrate Jared Cannonier, and he'll do that easily for 15 minutes. That's simple. Jeff Neal plus 200 underdog, Pratz minus 260 favorite. I got to be honest with you. I am surprised that this line is what it is. I thought Carlos Pratz would come in as like a minus 400 favorite. I'm all over Pratz. Let's be honest. Manny MJF over here is dangerous. Very powerful. It's going to apply pressure. But how does that go up and compare to Carlos Pratz, who does not give a fuck? This guy's going to close you in. He's going to box you in. He's going to have his hands down, and he's picking his shots. Pratz's striking is awesome to watch. I'm not saying it's the most effective thing in the world, but he's mastered it. His limbs are so long, and he just finds a way to break down his opponent piece by piece. We saw him against Ian Gary. He had his moments at the end. Ian Gary's a different type of fighter, man. Ian Gary's elusive. Ian Gary keeps distance. Ian Gary had a game plan. I don't think Jeff Neal for 15 minutes, that's anything for Pratz. And I just think they're going to collide, ultimately. I think Jeff Neal is really good when he's pushing the pace forward, when he is giving you his tough shots, that it's probably hurting your arms, you're feeding his power, and guys are kind of evading him. But Pratz is going to stay in the game with him. I think these guys, it's two 18-wheelers speeding at each other at 100 miles an hour. And I think Pratz is just going to catch him. I think Pratz is a newcomer. He's a prospect. He's bigger, better, faster, stronger. I'm big on Jeff Neal. Obviously, Jeff Neal has that puncher's chance. He's going to have that puncher's chance till he's 65. He's very strong. He's very good. Has slick striking. But give me Carlos Pratz, man. And it's going to be by knockout or points. I would really love a knockout here. I think that'll really get Pratz back on track. I hope he's been training and taking it seriously because Jeff Neal's no slouch, but Pratz is the pick, and I feel pretty comfortable at minus 260. Lerone Murphy against Aaron Pico. And again, I just want to applaud the UFC, just absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. The graphics guy, the updates. This is just beautiful. Aaron Pico, this fight has been announced for over like 2 months or over a month at least. And we have an unlocked character here. Come on, dude. Come on. He's a co-main eventing UFC 319, and you can't give him, like, give me a picture of his face. You can't get his record in here, his height, his weight. Jesus, man. $7.7 billion is what they just signed for. Get me a graphics guy. Come on. Anyway, enough nonsense. Guys, second dog of the night straight up. I do not understand how Lerone Murphy is the underdog. I think this is a fair pick 'em. And I get it. Pico has an extensive history in another promotion. Very good. Knocking people out. Wrestling background. Powerful, fun, exciting. They're going to try to build him here in the UFC. I wouldn't doubt that if this is a close fight, Pico gets the nod just because the UFC wants to build him. Because he's more exciting than Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, stick, move. Stick, move. That's all he's doing. But he's winning fights. He's good. He's technical. And he went 5 rounds with Edson Barbosa. He went 5 rounds with Josh Emmett. And you know what, guys? Maybe I have PTSD. I had money on Pitbull. I had money on Patchy Mix. And I got burned both times. So you know what? I'm not going to just say, hey, The Bellator PFL guys are coming in. I'm all over it. Fuck that. I learned my lesson, and I'm going to let them shine bright like diamonds in the bright light, see what they do, and then I'll make my decision for the second fight. So, in my opinion, dog or bust. Dog or bust here. I'm taking Lerone Murphy. I put half a unit. A little more conservative here because I really do think that he could just stick and move. Aaron Pico's never fought anybody like Lerone Murphy. Aaron Pico's going to have the UFC jitters. Can he get a finish here? Sure. But I think the real danger here for Lerone Murphy is if Aaron Pico brings in the grappling. Because if Aaron Pico tries to strike Lerone Murphy, I'll take it. Give him your best shots. Josh Emmett tried it for 25 minutes. And if Josh Emmett's not knocking you out, I don't think Aaron Pico is either. He has to get Lerone Murphy in the right situation. Grappling, there's a scramble. All of a sudden, you're closed. There's an uppercut, something like that. A nasty elbow, something like that. But just throwing bombs or some shit, that's not going to happen. Lerone Murphy's going to stick and move, and it's going to work. And if the volume's there, Lerone Murphy takes it. But Aaron Pico is probably going to bring in the wrestling. Let's see how good Lerone Murphy is at defending that. If he's able to defend the takedown, I'm very confident in Lerone Murphy. Like I said, I think it's dog or bust here. If you want to take a flyer on Pico, I say Pico by finish. I wonder what that's going to look like. But you never know. Maybe this guy is that guy. Am I betting on it? Absolutely not, guys. I've been burned twice. So Lerone Murphy's a pick. That's my second underdog. I have Murphy and Rousey. Last but not least, guys, Khamzat Chimaev finally contending for the middleweight belt as a minus 210 favorite. Dricus du Plessis plus 165. I actually have props for this one, so we'll talk about it. But let me just tell you who I'm picking and why I'm picking them and what I feel they need to do. You're going to hear so many breakdowns this week. I foresee the obvious. Don't let this handicapper blow your mind because he said Khamzat Chimaev has to take him out early. If it goes into the later rounds, it's Dricus. No shit, guys. No shit. From the information we have in history of both of these guys fighting, it seems that Khamzat Chimaev needs to win in the first 3 rounds. If not, Dricus du Plessis is going to be the one who's comfortable in the octagon. We have not seen Khamzat Chimaev in this situation. We have not seen him hit championship rounds. So it's a very dangerous game for Khamzat Chimaev, and we have no idea how this guy's coming in. He looks physically enormous. He looks strong. He looks quick. But Dricus du Plessis, nobody knows why, but whatever freaking Powerpuff Girl recipe they did on this guy, it works. And I love the memes, and I love the Dricus by Banana Peel, Dricus by Whoopsie Daisy. He's beat Sean Strickland twice. He beat Israel Adesanya. He beat Robert Whittaker. The guy deserves respect on his name. It's that simple. Khamzat Chimaev, on the other hand, has a win over Robert Whittaker. He beat Kamaru Usman. Obviously, that was short notice. He beat Gilbert Burns at 170. Khamzat was a lot smaller, looked drained, but he still beat him. So, and then he has wins over like Kevin Holland, things like that. So, Khamzat Chimaev is this weird problem that nobody has solved yet. And the person who was closest was actually Gilbert Burns, in my opinion. I think that was a banger fight. But now Khamzat's really filled up to middleweight. So when we have both of these guys going together, honestly, I have Khamzat Chimaev and I have him winning within the distance. He proved what he needed to prove to me against Robert Whittaker because nobody does that shit to Robert Whittaker. RDR just fought Robert Whittaker and he couldn't get him out. And he had him exhausted on his back at 2 points, but he couldn't even take him down. So I'm not a coach, but what I am going to tell you, and I think that it's valuable information, come back and be like, you were right, hopefully. Khamzat Chimaev shouldn't treat this like a 5-round fight. And that sounds bananas. I think he should be ready physically, but I think he should go in there and he should do exactly what he's done because that's what makes him a different breed. Khamzat Chimaev is not a problem because he's some strong guy who slowly gets into the fight. I think Khamzat Chimaev's a problem because as soon as you are in somewhat of distance to him, he's shooting for your ankles. And I think in this fight, I think Dricus is ready for that. I think he's going to be freaking sprawling in his sleep. So fake the takedown, come up, take shots at Dricus du Plessis, but I think Khamzat Chimaev should come out at 110 miles an hour because that's what's going to make Dricus uncomfortable. That's what Dricus is expecting. But even then, he has no idea what that looks like because he hasn't been in there with Khamzat. So use your tool, use your power to your advantage. This guy's never fought you. You tell me it's a rematch, maybe he knows what to prepare for. He's never dealt with somebody with your strength, speed, and aggression. give him that immediately, because this is what I will say about Dricus du Plessis. If Dricus du Plessis gains confidence early, if Khamzat Chimaev goes for a takedown and it doesn't go through, or Khamzat Chimaev is like, let me prep for 25 minutes. Let me just be a little bouncy. Let me just shoot a little bit of a jab. Dricus gets comfortable. And if Dricus gets comfortable, this is the worst fight of all time for Khamzat Chimaev, because coming to the later rounds, Dricus is in his element. And I'm not saying Khamzat can't finish a fight later. We don't know. We haven't seen it. But Dricus du Plessis has been here. Dricus du Plessis has been in 2 5-round wars with Sean Strickland. An absolute beating on both ends. And he was still there, coming, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. And if all of a sudden Khamzat's cardio gives out 10, 12 minutes into the fight, he's in a world of hurt. Because Dricus du Plessis is not just going to break him down on the fence and he's going to move around. Dricus du Plessis is going to finish him. He'll take him down, or he's going to land the shot, and out of exhaustion, Khamzat's going to come down. So I say unorthodox, right? Because usually your coach is going to say, train for a 35-minute fight. Be ready for 25 minutes. Really, I say bullshit. I say Khamzat Chimaev. Bell goes off, and he needs to go for his throat. And it could be a fake, right? He just like fakes a takedown. Boom. Starts banging out with Dricus. He has fucking power. You saw how he dropped Meerschaert with a freaking straight, just fucking brought him down. Dricus is not Iron Man, bro, and he's very good. And his craft, whatever the hell it is, it works. But Khamzat Chimaev has something that others don't, and that aggression, that power, that speed, that unorthodox approach to the fight has everybody on their heels. And yes, Dricus is expecting it, but I think it is the only way Khamzat win, and I'm hoping they have him on that. Take him out within 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes to win this fight, because I think he does it. I think he gets on his back. I think he could ground and pound him. I think he could finish however the freak he wants, but he has to push for it. And I think Dricus is going to be ready, and I think Dricus is strong, but I think Khamzat is way too much, man. I think his grappling is on another level. In my opinion, there will be an new middleweight champion. It's Khamzat Chimaev. Potentially the worst thing that could happen to the UFC, because he's not coming out that often, but Khamzat Chimaev, guys, -210 favorite. Total rounds. So let's see. Over 1.5 rounds is -185. Unders +140. Over 2.5 rounds +100. Sneaky play. Under 2.5 is -135. Over 3.5 is +155. Under 3.5 is -210. I think that's probably my spot right there. Over 4.5 is +220. Under is -325. I would honestly be shocked if this fight went the distance. I'd be shocked. Dricus by decision +600, Dricus by knockout +500, Dricus by sub +850, Khamzat by decision +600, Khamzat by knockout +475, Khamzat by sub +150. That's a scary prop. That's too low. Fight to go the distance, no, is -350. Yes, is +260. Insane. Dricus to win by finish +300. Khamzat to win by finish -120. I think that's fair. -120 for Khamzat to finish Dricus. Any fighter to win by knockout, yes, is 220. Either fighter to win by submission is +110. That's a sneaky play as well. Any club and sub, maybe Dricus gets the best of him later in the fight. Finish only winner, Khamzat -275, Dricus +200. Decision only winner, it's a pickup -115 each. So Dricus to win and over 1.5 rounds is +230, solid. Dricus to win and over 2.5 rounds is +325. I like that bet, because if it does go over 2.5 rounds, I'm pretty comfortable in Dricus winning this fight. Dricus to win in over 3.5 rounds is +425. And then let's go to Khamzat. Khamzat and over 1.5 rounds is +140. Khamzat and under 1.5 is +210. Khamzat and under 2.5 is +130. I think that's a sneaky play right there. Under 2.5. But Dricus is just so durable. So let's see. Khamzat and under 3.5 is -110. Yeah, the line's at 3.5 rounds. And I agree with it, because this might go 3.5 rounds. That's what we got, guys. More props to come, more videos to come. I'm probably going to do a live stream later on in the week when all the props are out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching this, it's probably Tuesday morning. Right now, it's Monday night. It's going to be a great week, guys, and I'm super excited about this weekend. Subscribe, leave comments. Let me know what you think below.